All right, so what we're going to work on today is, so we've got an inside project that I've been meaning to get to actually for quite some time. And this is in regards to our home water filtration system. We've got a couple filters that I need to replace. No noticeable drop in pressure, maybe 1 or 2 psi. So what we're going to be changing today are the KDF filter and then the ACB filter. If you've watched any of the videos on this, you know that we are on city water, and I would encourage you, even if you are on city water, go get you one of these. Do yourself and your family a favor. You don't want chlorine and everything else that's finding its way into the water systems for cities. You know, the days of, well, I've got great water, well, honestly, those are gone, you know, and that would be up for debate, I'm sure for some people, but for me and my wife, this was a great investment. And and it's not like tens of thousands of dollars, not even thousands of dollars. Like this was with the system and the filters right out the gate was, you know, $500-600. Well worth it in our opinion. I'm going to make an attempt at also trying to, when I take these off, of getting a sample of water out of each one, so we can kind of see perhaps what is or is not making its way through the system. And that may help you in, hey, what do I have when you do things? Or even if you're looking at this and you're trying to make a decision and you're like, well, I'm on city water, not worried about it, whatever. Hopefully there'll be some info here that will help you out. And this is my first time doing the KDF and the ACB filter. I've done the sediment filter before, so it's first time with those two. So it'll be interesting to see what we're going to get there. So let's get everything set up and ready to go. All right, so with the way my system is set up, like I said, if anyone's watched these videos, I have a bypass here and then 2 shutoffs. This leg here goes back out to the front yard, then around the corner, and then into the actual main part of the feed into the house. But what I'll end up doing is shutting off both of these and then opening this for the bypass. And I'll actually do that. I'll actually open that up to begin with, then shut off. That way I don't have any pressure stuff that might be unequal pressure that may play into things. I don't want to worry about that. But what I am going to do, I'll leave that closed off. I'm going to shut this one so I have no water going into the house, and I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to bleed a little bit of the pressure out of the system, in particular anything that may be in here, because I don't want to make a big mess when I hit the red button and relieve pressure here. So I'm going to do that first. Let's shut water off to the house. I'm gonna go upstairs, hit a sink, let some of that pressure build off of it, and then I'll come back downstairs. All right, so we got pressure down. Ugh. Was that off? And water's going back to the house. All right, first things first, we need to bleed some pressure off. This is what this red button's for. You get a little bit of water that kind of drips down the side there on the floor. So if you're really concerned about something, you know, that where that goes, and you only have to hit one of the red buttons, and you can see we're at 0 here. All right, so when you get ready to do this, I actually had to do a little cutscene there because I actually forgot. Got ahead of myself here. Get you a little pail or something like this. If you're doing this, you have this somewhere inside where you don't want there to be much, you know, things getting wet, because when you loosen it up, there's going to be some water that's still, you know, kind of, if you think about it, up higher here, potentially that could push into the system and then down through the plumbing and under the floor here. So I'm hoping that this little, I think this is like a 2-quart little thing here. Pan, we're going to loosen that up. And what I'm going to do, all the water is already bled out. But just keep in mind, you know, there's water in here, all the way in here. There's a filter in there, but it's all water saturated, you know, with the exception of some of the element stuff. And water is, whatever, 8-9 pounds a gallon. So it can add up, and if you're in an awkward position or whatever, you don't want to hurt your back or anything like that. All right. Well, can't have a project without a little bit of that project getting on you. House, car, whatever. That's how it goes. Interesting. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't bad. Yeah. All right, so what are we gonna do next? I want to get this filter out, but you know what I want to do? Let's get this on video. All right, so this is what we're looking at when I've got it down on the floor. Look at this here, you got a little floaty in there. No idea where that came from, but there is some, interestingly enough, there's actually a little bit of, I want to call it debris. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do my best to, I'm going to probably get another pail to put I'm going to pull the filter out and into the pail, and then whatever's left in that sleeve, I want to pour into something, and I want to get that on video so that people can see, you know, perhaps what the filter is actually catching. This is going to be a little bit tricky, and this is one of the things that I would definitely point out that would, you know, if I could like do a do-over on my initial system, was actually going a little higher with this, because one of the issues I run into is when I get the filters out there, there's not a lot of wiggle room in here. So ideally, I would probably go like another foot up, and I think that would be ideal, because then you can set the filter down and then you can actually pull it back out. So that would be a revision 2. Let's see what we got here. I gotta be careful because this is gonna be a mess. Now this is, quite honestly, what I am most interested in right now. So this would be the first filter. This is the KDF filter that's immediately after the sediment filter, which is a 50, actually I stand corrected. I believe that this is a 5 or 10 micron. You'd have to watch my first filter change video on this. It's been a while, so you know I can't quote that 100%, but let me get this. I don't want people thinking I'm doing something squirrely off camera. I tell you what, if you're not going out and buying you a home water filtration system after these videos, all right, let me get this. I want to get this up into some more light. I'm not making a plug for just this water filtration system, although I do like it and I've been impressed by it. What I'm simply going to say is, if you haven't gone out and bought a water filtration system after you've watched any of my videos, and this is on city water, if you're not buying a water filtration system, I don't know what to tell you, but that is, it's not awful. I mean, I'm not saying like it's the end of the world. Probably a person inhales or consumes or drinks this stuff anyways, but right, it's the idea about the stuff actually being in your quote clean drinking water at the house. And then you're also going to be thinking about appliances and faucets and things that can get clogged and plugged up. And this is on city water, so just imagine what you might be getting perhaps if you're on a well system, or if your city water isn't really that good at all. So you can definitely see there's some heavy stuff down in there. All right, so let's get the new filter in there. I'm not going to worry about, you know what, I will. I'm going to take that, I'll take it to the sink and I'll rinse it out just to make sure there's nothing settled in the bottom there, and then we'll put the new one in. All right, so my curiosity's got the best of me. Whoever makes these filters went and put a close and open symbols on the filter cartridge here. So we're going to look at what this looks like being used or having been used. A little O-ring there. Interesting. Okay, some kind of a oh, okay. Let me get the camera over here. Do my best with this, not dropping my phone. So there's like a little mesh material filter, and then it looks like it's packed carbon or some kind of carbon medium down in there. I think that's pretty much what a lot of these are, and maybe depending upon what you're trying to get out, you have it's either the granulation of the carbon is tighter, or maybe it's combined with some kind of fabric or woven cloth of some kind. But that was pretty neat. We'll take a look at the new one here in just a second. And this filter probably at least like damp like this. The two of these. Yeah, the one on the right. So the used one is slightly heavier, maybe by a pound or two. But this is probably 10 pounds wet. And the new one's slightly under that. So let me go just get this outside so it can finish draining or do whatever it's going. Let's get this KDF opened up. And someone out there probably would ask me, like, does it make a difference? Does, like, what filter goes in first? Other than the first sediment filter, I don't know if there's a rule of thumb for these. I can't speak to that. I'm not that much of a expert on it. There's the bottom for what it's worth. Top. And yeah, I hope I don't regret this. But an inquiring mind wants to know at this point. Ooh. Maybe they don't want us to get in the new ones for some reason. Alright, well, not gonna do it. Sorry, gang. It is lighter. I imagine the material, the medium's the same. I was just gonna see like how much darker or what the condition of that stuff was gonna be. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. Put that there. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I hope I don't regret this. That rubber O-ring that sits on the top here, they say to change out like every water filter change. I'm not gonna do that on this one. It still has some Vaseline on it, so so it doesn't grab and pinch or cut or whatever when I put it up there. Get my spanner wrench and just kind of support it underneath. Make sure the filter is pretty much sitting center, and just give it light pressure while you're turning counterclockwise. So it's snug. I don't have any kind of torque spec for that other than hand tight, and then just snug it up good with the spanner wrench. Don't lean back on it. You do have to get this off, or someone has to get it off at some point. All right, so that's the KDF filter done. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll add the next one, the ACB filter, in it, just for the sake of the video, but it's gonna be pretty much, identical to what just happened here, other than it definitely would be interesting to see what the condition is of the water coming from there. So we kind of got the condition of the water coming from here to here, or at least what was left in here. It'll be interesting to see what's in the ACB filter housing. Like I said, it should be a rinse and repeat of the last one. Loosen it up. We've got some water kind of draining down in there. And I'm not gonna, what I'm getting ready to share, I'm not gonna do on this video just because I wasn't prepared for it. But I think what I might do on the next filter change is I'm gonna get, and I might need to do the sediment filter too, I don't know, because what I really want to test is to see, like, let's call it purity of water or whatever. Irrigation system runs off of straight up city water. So I may get a sample of that and then get a sample of my filtered water, get it sent out to a lab just to kind of see the condition of. And then what I'll do as well is the next time I get ready to do the filter change, which would probably be about 12 months from now, just because I'm on city water. If you're on well water, you want to do it more often perhaps. But I will do another sample again of the condition of the water in the house prior to the filter change, just to kind of see how things are going there with that. Perhaps that might drive more of a, you know, do I need to or not actually change a filter or something along that lines. Can be a little scary and you think you're draining your house and you know where you're at. So again, best thing is just to assume that things are going to get a little wet. First time I did this, I kind of panicked. Wasn't prepared. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't. I was thinking about getting the job done, not about everything that might actually go on with it. But yeah, I didn't have a lot of the stuff that I have right now. So, all right, let's get this filter out. We'll do the same thing. There's a little bit of carbon, just you can kind of see. I hope the camera's showing it because I've got it flipped around so I can't see. Nice and slow. Wow, that's different. Maybe it might be just because it's wet. But for whatever reason, you can definitely tell a difference between the two. And hopefully it's just because it's wet. Or not. Maybe that's a good sign, right? That it's getting a bunch of whatever. All right, we'll let that drain there. I got my bucket here. Let's see what kind of soup we have in here. That's different. And this would be water that would be like on the outside of the filter. It's not what's going in the house. It would have been stuff that would have been on the outside, not actually that was coming up, you know, coming up, which actually comes in and then, you know, out to the house. But yeah, let's take a look. Got me some soup. Look at that. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, I guess. Normally I have plenty to say, but all I can tell you, you know, show you what I got here. And so I don't know if this is just really, really fine, like carbon stuff that came from the KDF filter and just, you know, is trapped, or if this ACB filter was in so long that maybe somehow these pores kind of deteriorated a little bit. Some of the carbon material got on the outside. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but I did, you know, at least show it to you. And again, that's not what's making it into the house. That's what's been stopped. So that's at least a good thing as far as that goes. So let me get that filter outside. We'll get this one unwrapped and installed. I'm also going to go ahead and do a rinse on this one because there is some I don't know what the video will actually show it around, but there's some fine particulate down there. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it out. All right, so let's get our new ACB unwrapped and installed. There's that in. There's that in. I don't know if it matters, you know, which one is which. Other than when you put it in there, there is a little centerpiece on the bottom. You know, generally speaking, you want to make sure you're trying to see if you can actually like feel it. I don't think there's anything to feel per se. You'll see, you know, that it will more or less kind of gravitate towards center. The important thing is when you're putting it in that you kind of guide it at least a little bit to begin with, so it's not way, you know, too far off center, but it will guide itself. And again, just some upward pressure. You got my dog barking at nothing. And tight. Snugged. And that's it. Those filters have been changed out. All that's left now is to get over in the dark corner over here. The curtains covered. Is to get over here and slowly what I will do is I will slowly open up. I'll open up both of these, but just slow to allow pressure to build, because one of the things you do want to make sure and check for are any leaks. You have any leaks, you know, those could be associated. You could actually have, if you try to go too far, too many times with the O-ring that's inside, that will eventually have a flattened memory aspect to it, and it will no longer seal. I would recommend getting a pack of those. I actually do have a pack. I just opted not to use them because I wanted to see, you know, how they will do. Can I actually go, instead of every change, can I go every other, and it will be fine? I'm gonna try it out. But yeah, I'll just slowly open up. I won't just throttle it all the way to bring pressure up into the system and see what I've got in the way of leaks or not. So let's go ahead and do this. Let me crack this one. And that one. Those are all filled. That's what you're hearing is the filter housing is filling up. You see the dials coming up. I apologize for that. I went and grabbed my camera stand, but hopefully you did see that. The gauge is going up. Wow, they're really like going up. It's a little scary. Shut off the bypass. And then what you want to do is run a sink or something for 5 minutes or so. I haven't finished that part of my system where I actually will be able to flush out to the outside. So that less annoying. Listening to a sink run, you know, for 5 minutes actually gets annoying. But I'll do that. And then we're done. Okay? So I hope you found this video informative. I hope you learned something. I certainly did. If you've got any questions, you can leave those down below, any comments as well. Let's keep them constructive. That's just all I ask. Thumbs up if you like the content. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate that as well, that you subscribe to the channel. We try to do our best to, as we're working on things, share what we've done, what we've learned, mistakes we've made, and be as transparent as possible to help you and your family out and saving some money and learning some things. So thanks for watching the video and have a good day. As I'm running that water too, you can hear it. That gurgly sound, it's just air getting through, you know, all the filters, system media, and anything that may have gotten into the piping. So nothing to worry about there. See my dirty kitchen, but some of that sputtering that you're hearing, that's just air working its way out of the system. Nothing to be overly concerned about, that's just normal. Something else that you could do too, depending upon just how technical you want to be with, let's say, the frequency of when you change out these filters, you could use your water bill. You know, make a date, put down the date of when you change this. Maybe have a little small spiral notebook or something up here, or wherever you keep your records. You could actually write down, you know, the date that you've done the change. Keep track of that in your water bill. You'll see how many gallons of water you used a month, so you could track that. I know there is some kind of spec for, you know, how many thousands or tens of thousands of gallons of water these filters are good for. And again, that's totally dependent upon whether you're on city water or well, or in some places you actually have a meter in the house that gives you a readout and you can keep track of that. I don't do that. I just basically, my goal is once a year. I missed that on these by actually quite a bit. I had the filters in time to do it, but the filters got set in the corner and the project got forgotten until today, so it is what it is. But anyhow, just want that one note there, what you could do for tracking, you know, how often you might need to change those filters out.